welcome to A12 Talks, the podcast, where we talk about anything we want to talk about. And now we decode the secrets of effective leadership, one conversation at a time. I'm Vin Belandres.
I'm Ryu Miyazaki.
Hello, and I'm Miguel Ponce.
And we're here to guide you on how to lead with purpose, inspire action, and create meaningful impact.
For real.
So, guys, first, I want you to know that nearly 80% of workplace problems starts with miscommunication, not
Really?
personal clashes, right? Do
Interesting.
you agree?
Interesting.
So, whether it is unclear instructions or poor communication, and these kinds of things are sometimes the culprit in those disagreements, and also one factor that can bring up chaos. So, I have a good news for you, for both of you.
Really?
Yeah, effective communication. Have you heard?
Yes.
Okay. So this is not just a skill, but also a power that can transform conflict, also conflict into collaboration. So today we are gonna uncover this. So Vin,
Now, in this episode, we'll explore the crucial role communication plays in conflict resolution. From active listening to using the right tone and finding common ground, we're diving into actionable strategies to help you lead with clarity and compassion, even in the toughest situations. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get started.
Okay, so I would like to start by sharing a story, right? So I used to be in this leadership class like this one, and we were on a group project. So I was in a group project with two other people. Let's just call them Maria and James. So, Marie, so during the start of the project, right? Uh, what's usually the first step in group projects?
distributing tasks.
Yes, exactly. So when distributing tasks, James insisted on handling the technical parts
Okay.
because he said that he said that he thinks that Maria lacks the technical skills or the necessary skills for the
Whoa.
technical part of the project. So
Certain
naturally,
skills.
Maria felt a little offended. She felt undervalued. She felt that she was being sidelined by James when she really wanted to help and contribute to the project. So
Oh.
Maria confronted James, and this resulted in an argument. So our professor noticed this and said, he encouraged Maria and James to resolve this themselves by practicing effective communication. So they agreed to meet and talk and resolve this conflict. They both agreed to share the technical parts of the project. So, by communicating properly, they both acknowledged their misunderstandings and resolved the conflict, not only improving their teamwork and strengthening their relationship, but improving our overall uh, team dynamics and uh, improving our project outcome through teamwork, right? So, my question is, how does effective communication help in identifying the root cause of a conflict within a team or organization, just like my group project from before?
I want to answer that. Is it
Okay,
okay?
okay, okay. Sure, sure, sure.
Okay. So, being able to use effective communication. I experienced this firsthand, especially with my group that is starting to dish out ideas that doesn't make sense or very impractical. So, effective communications comes in very importantly. So, I try to be transparent always and start to listen to their ideas first before I give out my ideas
Mm,
in a research project maybe. And I also want to be being able to listen first than being able to listen and having to give out the task on hand.
mm.
So this helps me to build the trust between our group and makes our group very productive too.
Wow.
So I have this question. It relates to the question firsthand for me.
Mm,
How about you, Rio?
yeah.
In what ways can active listening contribute in resolving conflicts in your group dynamic?
Okay. So active listening is really important because, right, for example, in the group project scenario, if only Maria and James had active listening, it would have been way easier to begin with, right? So
Yes.
Maria first lacked active listening by taking in what James said and immediately getting offended without even trying to understand why James decided to suggest it in the first place, or James, even James lacked active listening, right? When we were distributing tasks, instead of listening first, he immediately suggested that he should take the technical aspects or the technical parts of the project, uh, instead of waiting, or instead of just listening first, right? So when both
Yes.
of them practiced active listening, right? When James started to explain to Maria that it was not his intention to offend her, but just wanted to assure the quality of the project, and then Maria actively listening and explaining her side on why she got offended. So when both of them actively listen to each other, this built effective communication between them. So when they started effectively communicating, they immediately resolved the conflict. And by resolving conflicts, this improves team dynamics. If each and every one of us in our groups are actively listening, conflicts are easily resolved, and that really improves team dynamics. So
Yeah.
uh, by that, right? So if you were in my place, right, in that group project, how can you, as a leader, not just for the group project, right, as a leader overall, how can you, as a leader, encourage open communication to prevent conflicts before they escalate? Because if I was a more effective leader during that time, maybe I most probably would have prevented that escalating to a confrontation and argument before it even happened. I could have prevented it. So how can you, as a
I think
leader, uh,
I think Ben can answer this.
yeah. So
Okay, so for me, I'm in a leadership role in my research classes or other group projects, but the first thing before I would distribute the tasks to other members is to encourage open communication in the form of like imposing a rule like that. So since our members need rules to follow so that they may function properly.
that's a good.
So you need to give your members a briefing process
Mm,
by state your intentions and rules and being transparent. And other than that, learn to build relationships and trust. But the bottom line is you need to listen and listen. Just always listen to their sides and do not judge. So there's a saying, a social saying in which some people would talk and others would chant or say, we listen, but we do not judge.
oh
That's
yeah, I
words
know
of
this
truth,
trend. Yeah.
especially when you foster the communication among your team. So you just listen, actively listen to your team's ideas, and when they share their feelings, you listen, but you do not judge. Never be judgmental. Once if you become a leader, especially in a professional setting. So
Listen, we don't judge.
Yes, we listen and we
yeah, we
don't
listen, but we
judge.
do not judge. But
Yes.
for sometimes there are quite actually some barriers to that open communication that leads to effective communication. Can someone name them? I believe that we have learned this through past subjects, but we need an in-depth review of it once again. So can
Okay.
someone name them?
I would like to name one. So, in my experience as a leader, I think one of the most common barriers to effective communication is definitely emotions, right? We we let emotions get to us and cloud our judgment. This hinders effective communication. So going back to the scenario earlier, since Maria was immediately offended by what James said, she confronted James about it, and they escalated to an argument. If Maria did not let her emotions cloud her, she could have asked uh she could have asked James properly about it during the team meeting instead of confronting him later on about it. And James, uh instead of like letting his emotions get to him, thinking that he he has to take on this role. He has to take the technical parts by himself. Uh,
Yeah.
or instead of explaining to Maria, how he just wants to assure the quality of his work. So there's definitely a barrier there on effective communication. So emotions, definitely.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Just remember, guys, we listen, we do not judge.
We listen, we do not judge.
So
So then
can
we change
you
the.
so aside from that, does anyone else have an idea have ideas to barriers?
As much as I could say, maybe not. Not for now.
Okay. So so before we end this podcast, I would like to ask a last question, right? So, how can
Yeah.
the resolution of a conflict through communication enhance collaboration and overall team performance?
Oh. So this question's personally makes it favorite.
Mm,
Since I came from a group, I have handled the group in which we bicker or we fight, we argue, we disagree. But when things get personal, but in the end, we were all able to resolve it through open communication, by sharing, be transparent, and actually, it just builds our trust and confidence with each other, in which improve relationships strengthen the output of an output of a team. Excuse me. So we learn from our mistakes so much, in which we just collaborate and perform well regardless of what we have done in the past. So the bottom line is your mistakes doesn't define you when you're in a team. It's a process actually for all of us to
I
learn
agree.
and to collaborate more and
I agree.
excuse me and to give an overall team a better team performance than what you could expect. So that ends my statement.
Okay.
Anyone to
Thank you,
add?
Vince.
All right. Thank you, Vin. So, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you're walking away with fresh insights and actionable strategies to take your leadership and your communication skills to the next level. Remember, great leaders aren't just problem solvers, they're connection builders who turn challenges into opportunities for growth.
And I'll leave you with this thought. The art of communication is the language of leadership. So keep refining your skills and keep leading with purpose. Until next time, bye
Bye
guys.
bye.